What show is it? Albuquerque Business Podcast.
ABQ.
And
I wonder who came up with the ABQ thing. It's just an abbreviation.
Albuquerque.
Yeah, I had to do a deposition yesterday, and it was interesting because there was they had, it's like the Albuquerque One or whatever the new logo is, and they have that big statue downtown.
Oh,
they have that as like their logo, like the legal team and all that stuff did.
really?
Yeah, I'm probably not supposed to talk about it, but
That's
but
nuts.
it was like a situation that happened to me. But it was interesting how there was when you look at like Zoom calls.
Tell me.
I was there, and this will lead into what we're going to talk about. I was there. I raised my right hand and got sworn in by the clerk through Zoom. And
What are
then
you swearing
it was
to?
recorded. It was recorded. Yeah, it was recorded. An incident that happened to me several years back, a crime.
Mm-hmm.
So I was raising my hand or whatever, and then having to give this testimony, and then just share. And then the lawyers were all on there asking. But it's interesting to me. Why don't we just do that from now on?
That's a great question.
You could even have the judge there. You know what I mean? It's
There's
like,
no real point in having them in the room.
yeah, especially if you're worried about
And then
variance
people,
with,
and people not showing up.
yeah.
Court
Dude,
order.
I was sitting right here.
Yeah.
You know how convenient that was
That's very convenient.
for me? Yeah, it was super convenient.
So did you do your deposition while you were in the studio?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah,
I love
it just
it.
had the best connection, and we're hardwired right into Albuquerque's finest.
Right into the fiber.
Yeah, right into it. So it was. But I mean, I'm just saying, why can't, for business, for municipalities, everything that's going on, we need to look at everything that we do in our life.
Yep.
And I know people don't like change, but technology is here and it's coming 7 times faster than you can imagine. And it's time that everyone gets on board.
Right. So technology is developing a lot quicker than we are, hands down. We still don't understand each other. We're shooting one another. You know what I mean? We're beating each other up. We're saying things that shouldn't be said. We're polarizing against one
Right.
another. So if we think locally about what's going on here, there's a lot of technology in this area. Tons. But people ignore the value of that technology to help uplift their basic practices that they do day in and day out so that they don't have to put time and attention into that, but time and attention to things that really matter for them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if you have something that's accelerating at 7 times the pace of an evolutive pace that what you are doing, maybe you should put some focus on why is that thing evolving so quick? Can I use this to help me evolve? Help my business evolve? Help Albuquerque evolve? And then New Mexico, de facto after that point, right? If my business does well, they tax me more. State's happy. But
Yes.
at the same time, I'm driving revenue, and now it looks like, wow, something's really going on here in Albuquerque.
Yeah, and I think especially with technology, when you look at the applications and the things that we do and behind the scenes, they said that you could take one day of the internet, like the data of the internet, and if you could print it on a front and back piece of paper
How big's a book?
and stack it, it would go from here to the sun every day.
That's crazy.
That's how much data we're putting out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of companies, I know here locally, because we've talked to people from Sandia Labs and RS21. I had the CEO on this podcast.
Yep.
And they're getting so much amounts of data. And then a lot of companies, you have tons of data.
Yeah, but here's
What do you do with it? It's like those garbage barrages
There we go.
out in the ocean.
Yeah, the barge.
You have these data barrages, garbage barrages, and it's like, I don't know.
barge.
Barge, yeah.
Barrage.
Barrage. A barrage.
Yeah, the barges. Here's the thing. People are like, data. Okay, what? What is that? Everyone's always asking, what's data? I can't wrap my hands around it.
Right.
They can't. They don't understand it. Like, in their mind, they're like, how do I conceptualize what you're talking about? This intangible thing. Well, all of these things that we do, because technology is evolving so quick, it's evolved at a pace right now, watches what we do. It records. It's a great record of everything that's happening here, for instance, in Albuquerque. Every business has a record. Every person here within the city has a record. But the problem is those things are siloed. Business owners understand that. They know what siloing is. They know centralization. So how do you unlock the value of that information? How do we get those streams to cross, right, like Ghostbusters, and actually make something powerful occur out of it, right? If the doughboy is like the slow evolution of Albuquerque, just like walking, this like big pudgy giant.
What was that last movie where they had the big doughboy? It was that fun movie, and people are yelling at it right
Free
now.
Guy.
Yeah, and it was kind of inappropriate.
Oh no!
It was the last one, and like in the beginning scene, everybody died. They're like superheroes, but like misfit superheroes, and they're all in prison and stuff.
What the heck?
It was just out, and it's like a funny bizarre. It's the second
like Suicide Squad.
Yes,
thank you.
Yeah, it's the latest Suicide Squad. Yeah,
so,
thanks for redeeming.
You're no problem. So here's the point. Okay, and let's get to it. It's very easy for us to use these technologies. We just have to make a choice to use them. And you and I have spoken with many of the leaders, many people that have been at the World Economic Forum. These are the people that essentially run the world through business. Mm-hmm. What is their primary focus? What do they say is the backbone of our industrial future?
Yeah, it's the Industrial Revolution 4.0, which is data.
Which is data.
Yes.
This is my point. So,
and people can go on World Economic Forum's website right now and type in Industrial Revolution 4.0, and they're going to see all of this.
It's data.
It's data.
So the point is, this thing that people are having a hard time wrapping their hands around is being generated all the time. All we have to do in Albuquerque is make a choice to use this thing, to turn it into an asset for ourselves so we can make decisions quicker than any of these surrounding municipalities, states, ecosystems that are set up. We can advance very quickly. We just have to make that choice. Now, for instance, the company you and I both work at, it's called Tartle, all right?
Which sponsors the show.
Which sponsors the show. So we're going to do a little plug right here. But I want people to understand something. When we say that RS21, okay, Descartes Labs, Netflix, any of these major, even the hospitals here, should be using Tartle. Tartle allows people or businesses to take the data that they have siloed and centralized and turn it into an asset. So it drives revenue for that individual that's choosing to share information which the state, businesses, research outfits need to make really good decisions that have tangible, positive impacts to the people who live here in the city.
Okay, so let's say we have an administrator from Presbyterian listening to this right now. Let's go with Presbyterian Hospital. And he's like, well, how much trouble is it to hook it up to Tartle? And two, what is the reason to even...
Why would I do that?
Why would I have Presbyterian powered by Tartle?
Presbyterian, your whole gig is to get people in a hospital bed. Get them in, get them out. The more times you can bill, the better it is for your rev, and your nonprofit's looking great, okay? So why would you hook up with Tartle? One, you want to establish relationships with the people here in Albuquerque and the surrounding towns of Albuquerque to say, come to my hospital. You need to understand the health outcomes of these individuals. You need to track them over time. Your whole point is to keep people healthy and treat them when they're sick. So the way you do that is to check and measure the data from that individual. And when you buy it from them, they can donate that back towards your hospital, which is a nonprofit. It's a very easy thing to do. You can understand their health records that may come from other doctors. You can get their genome sequencing and send it over to the lab. We can make these things seamless. You can understand how much they want to be billed. You have to understand what the net promoter score, how do they feel about going into your hospital, why they didn't go in, right? You need to pair information from the people that support your business and services, right? You got to take their data and pair it with what you have. So when both of these things come together, now you have a full picture. Now it's making sense. Optically, I can really see what's going on. So the question is, how difficult is it to actually access this information? Well, it's very easy. You can either do it through a web GUI. So I'm going to go on a portal and essentially like buy stock of people. So I want to know a certain demographic and I want to buy this data on them. Okay, go buy it like you're buying a stock. Or use a very minimal low-code access through our API and tie it directly into the hospital servers. Any business could do that. Descartes Labs. Okay, I'm going to give them another example. Or RS21 because they're very data-focused. They took a lot of bird's eye views. They take a lot of satellite data, things like that, and then do some sort of analysis, right? And then give that analysis over to clients. And those clients pay them. They're like consultants from the sky. Well, what happens when you take satellite information or this bird's eye view, right? And you pair it with boots on the ground view. Now, I've watched these patterns occur, but getting the information from the people through Tartle tells me why the patterns occur. People can, all these businesses nowadays can all tell us what happened.
Right.
But they don't know why.
Yeah, and you're basically living in the past.
You're living in the past. So if Albuquerque wants to step into the future,
Right.
it should be powered by Tartle. Businesses here should be powered by Tartle. We should all work together because a rising tide lifts all ships, and we should incentivize the people of Albuquerque to use Tartle to share data with these businesses, with these hospitals, with the research centers, with the labs, because it benefits the entire area. We're not doing this for us. Anytime you buy data through Tartle, all of those earnings drive over to the end user.
Yes.
You're establishing a relationship with the people here, not with Tartle. Tartle's just the bridge. And we've fundamentally architected a technology that brings both of these people together that otherwise had no reason to discuss anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. And what I want people to understand is whenever you look at this marketplace or the exchange of what Tartle is, it is the beginning of something that is bigger than a lot of you may realize, in the sense that, I mean, the tech people that are listening to this may understand it a little bit because they're understanding blockchain and stuff like that. But whenever you look at a business being powered by Tartle, in the sense of, and I want you to talk about this a little bit, kind of like a little bit more of the details, like an API, you know, it's hooked, and then that information goes right into their servers.
Correct.
And if you're like a Presbyterian hospital, and you want to make sense of this, and whether you're building out a marketing campaign, which we can do, or whatever it may be, can you kind of describe, for those that may be interested, can you kind of describe the actual technology that is able to do that?
Yeah, no, fantastic. So we recognize something at Tartle that Stripe had done. Stripe's a payment processor for online. And their bread and honey, what made them really sing, was the fact that it was 7 to 10 lines of code to get this thing implemented into any website. Okay? What we wanted to do was make our technology also completely agnostic. It'll tie into whatever you want, right? So what we did is we took a minimal amount of code so that a budding business, right, a startup, a business that's been around for a while, a technology company, a hospital, can go to their IT team and say, hey, I want to connect our servers to the Tartle servers, which is saying I want to connect and establish a relationship to all the people here in Albuquerque. And I want to do it digitally. And I want to do it through this ethical means, and I want to tie in through a programmable interface, this API, and say, okay, this demographic, this time, this price, this data. And this system will run automatically, and it will collect information for you directly from those people that are powering your products and services all around the Albuquerque metropolitan area. And that information comes right in your servers with your algorithms, or your business teams, business intelligence teams will be able to analyze this and be like, wow, there's a lot of interesting things happening here. There are a lot of blind spots. We were doing a lot of guessing. Now we really know what's happening. We have a legitimate pulse on the population of the area. Does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. And you know, there's so many applications of this. I mean, the political spectrum of things, whether you're Democratic Party, Republican Party, Libertarian Party, doesn't matter. You can go directly to people, ask questions in certain demographics, certain zip codes.
Need to know what's going on at the Pueblos?
Yes.
You don't have to go there, right? You don't have to bring in you don't have to bring the pandemic with you. Right? Those are protected groups. Let's keep them protected. Okay, let's not step on it. Let's have a conversation with them digitally.
Yes.
And uplift them.
Yeah, and you know, like being able to give gift certificates for information from casinos to their patrons.
Yep.
I mean, that's a huge business, huge businesses here in Albuquerque, municipalities, gas and oil.
Think about it. If I want to do market research, you can do it on Tartle. If I want to get ethical lead generation because I'm a business here, I can do it on Tartle, right? If I want to enhance my business intelligence or my algorithms, I can do it on Tartle. So whether I'm Facebook or a satellite company or a landscaping company, everyone here has the ability to use this thing, to take this technology, which is evolving so fast, wrap their hands around it, uplift their business, and uplift the people they interact with. And they have to understand that when they are paying to buy that data, it goes towards that person, the people who really do need the funds.
And that's the beautiful part. So if a business wants to get a hold of, one, how could they go and look at the system and see what it is? And then number two, If it's a local business, because we have something special for local businesses here in Albuquerque.
We do.
We're doing something.
So up to your first 5,000 data packets will be on us. We know the value in what has been created. So if you're a local business and you're interested in trying this out, all you have to do is email mh@tartle.co, tartle.co, and let them know that you've signed up as a buyer at tartle.co, which is completely free to do. It will only take you a brief moment to get set up, and then we will credit your account to go out and do that data buying. The proof is in the pudding for us. We're not just selling you something crazy. And guess what? That money is going to go towards those end people. And we know the value of uplifting those people financially. So when we say that, fine, 5,000 data packets, we'll make sure that we transfer that value to those people. They deserve it. They're sharing things with you. You're establishing that relationship. And we're willing to bet our chips on that established relationship between you, the business, and that end user.
So everyone, mh@tartle.co.
Correct.
And then also you can go online, sign up at tartle.co as the buyer. Just
That's
click
correct.
the little buyer button on the top and sign up.
And we'd be more than happy to help you out. We'll give you totally white glove approach, high touch, anything you need. We're here to make it work. It's Albuquerque.
So why? Last question, then we're going to be done. Why is Tartle so into Albuquerque, and why are we doing this?
For so long, Albuquerque has been under the radar. It is a beautiful, wonderful place with rich, rich culture. And it has always been on the cusp of great things. But Intel, they picked up and left for a while. Microsoft picked up and left. Now people are starting to come back. The lifestyle, the values, everything that's happening here is what people want. And I want to show that great technology, great ideas, and great people, great evolution, great change can happen here in ABQ.
Thank you for joining us on the Albuquerque Business Podcast. And thanks to our sponsor, RigbyDigital.com. Make sure to subscribe and share. And go to ABQPodcast.com. Get show notes, resources, and links to everything we talked about today to help you navigate your journey as an entrepreneur and business owner.